I am Dr. Bernadette de Guzman. I am the third year coordinator. And our resident coordinator for Psych 2 is Dr. Jane Verano. All right. So first and foremost, I would like to welcome you to Psychiatry 2. So you'll be spending 1 year with us and approximately 5 hours per week. So 1 hour will be allotted for the lectures and then 2 hours for your preceptorial sessions with your facilitator and another 2 hours for ward work or self-directed learning activity. I believe there is a message in the chat box, but I am not able to see pa. Wait, hold on. Sige, later na lang I'll try to go back no there. So 5 hours of activities per week with us. So we have already posted the lecture topics for the first semester on Canvas. So just kindly familiarize yourself with the schedule, the topics, and also the dates when we would have the lectures. So for the topics in Psychiatry 2, the focus primarily would be on the management of the common psychiatric disorders. So the discussion would usually include psychopharmacology, the usual psychiatric drugs, and also an overview of psychotherapy and the psychodynamic concepts involved in them. So as much as possible, we also want to make this practical and also interesting for you. So we would be inserting case-based discussions so that you would know how to apply the concepts that you have learned in an actual case or in a simulated patient-doctor interaction. So we highly encourage the students also to ask questions at the end of the lecture. So you can type in your questions in the chat box, or you can also pull your questions as a section and then also raise that, have a representative after the lecture to ask those questions that you've already put. Okay. So how will we be grading you throughout the entire period? So majority of the grade would still be coming from the long examinations. And if you notice, we try as much as possible to equally divide the percentages among the long exams. However, if you notice also the semester long exams, the third and the sixth LE, and also the comprehensive exam have a higher percentage compared to the others because more topics would be covered during these particular examinations. So usually, of course, we have topics assigned during the first LE. And then during the second LE, we would be getting some questions from the first LE, but a bulk of the questions would still be coming from the second LE. Same is true for the third LE. So majority of it would be coming from the topics during the third LE period, but some questions or a few questions will be coming from the second and also the first LE. Right? Of course, for the comprehensive exam, it would cover topics from the first to the sixth LE period. Okay. Also, a portion of your grade will be coming from the quizzes, so 5%. So the quizzes will be conducted during your preceptorial sessions, and also a psych report will be submitted that would also be graded. So for a total of 100%. Now, for your skills, those are the entrustable professional activities. So we would also be assessing you on how you would conduct the psychiatric interview and perform the mental status examination. So these two parameters or metrics will be graded during your oral OSCE. We will also be discussing in a while how you will be graded in these two activities. All right. Now, there will also be a time for feedback during the examinations from providing feedback about the examination that was done. So the focus here would primarily be the difficult questions that we have identified through the item analysis of the exams. So that would be the emphasis during feedback. And if you have, for example, inquiries or questions about the tests, we highly encourage you to pull those questions and then you can send those in our department email address, to our department email address, or post them sa Canvas, dun sa discussion board. Okay, for a particular period of time, we will be opening that discussion board and try to answer your inquiries about the questions if you have any. Okay, there. Okay, so for preceptorials, so this will be the schedule per section. So section A, section B, and section C. So we've already posted the schedule for section A preceptorial activities and also the student precept manual for section A. So I know that other sections B and C would be having their preceptorial period at a later date, at a later schedule. But we also want to orient you already as early as now about how we do activities during precept sessions and also about the student precept manual, because this will serve as your guide in navigating the entire preceptorial period with us. Okay, so for section A, you would be meeting with your preceptors either on a Thursday or Friday. So if you have your preceptorial sessions with your facilitators on a Thursday, then you would do your ward work on a Friday. So same is true with the Friday group. If that's the schedule with your preceptors, then your ward work is on a Thursday. All right. So we will be asking the president of the section to also um, tell your classmates to have a leader per preceptorial group, and that leader would be the point person checking on the other members on your other classmates if they have any somatic symptoms. So we will be conducting the preceptorial sessions face to face. So of course, if there is anyone who has symptoms, we highly encourage them not to join anymore and you will be excused for that particular session. Since we also don't want the students and the facilitator to be at risk for any infection. So we would totally understand those circumstances. Okay. So going back to the student precept manual, so it would contain the schedule of activities, the activities per precept session, the guide questions for discussion, what to review for the quizzes, and also the ward policies and instructions before you begin your ward work activities with us. Also, at the end of the manual, you would have additional resource materials. So table of medications and lectorial video links as supplementary resources for your own learning. So, okay. So this is just an overview of the activities for preceptorials. So for the first activity, so just a reminder for section A, for this week, July 17 and 18, you won't have to meet with your preceptors face to face. So your first activity would be an online activity. A Zoom link will be provided and you're going to watch these instructional videos that we have prepared for you. So if you notice also, there are more ward work activities this time around compared to last year, because this was the feedback of the students. You want more patient encounter and want more observation time on how psychiatrists interview and assess patients. So we tried to include more activities like that this time around. Okay, and actually, the activities that we have prepared during the beginning of the preceptorials aim to prepare you for when you interview your patients later on. Okay, so you'll be able to see that the activities are geared towards that. All right. So kindly take note of the ward work schedule here that you have and all other dates wherein you would have no meetings with your preceptors. Okay. So for the first online activity, as mentioned, we prepared videos on how to conduct the psychiatric history taking, how to do the mental status examination, and how to elicit the anamnesis. So this is only a simulated case, okay? This is actually me doing the history taking, and this is Dr. Jane Verano, so that you'll also be familiar on who we are. Okay, but we are portraying or role-playing a particular case. So kindly watch this and take note of it because this will also be a learning guide for you. Now, in your student manual, we have already included there what you have to prepare for and what you have to review, okay, per precept session. So again, for the first online activity, you'll be watching these videos. So very important, these departmental instructional videos are not allowed to be copied or distributed. You would have your own time watching them to provide a Zoom link and share these videos accordingly. So as a group, you will be asked to submit a written psychiatric report of the patient that you have watched, the psychiatric history and MSE findings, and individually submit a written report of your assessment or working impression or diagnosis and proposed treatment plan for this patient. So there, the written reports to be submitted on the next preceptorial session. Now, in your student manual, we've included there some form of a guide on how to write the psychiatric report. So, what are the contents of the different parts of the psychiatric report? And also the format on how you would fill up the psych report and also the mental status examination. Again, these two will be submitted by group, and this, the assessment and the proposed treatment plan would be submitted individually. So the output that you will be submitting here will be graded and part of your quizzes in the preceptorial uh, portion. Okay. So during the first session that you would be having with your individual preceptors or facilitators, you will be asked to prepare scripts on how you would elicit the symptoms of schizophrenia, depression, bipolar mania, GAD, and panic disorder. So these are the common psychiatric conditions that you would encounter when you go into clerkship and even in private practice. So just try to prepare how you would elicit the symptoms during an interview. And this would already serve as your review. Okay, here, serve as your review for the evaluations that will also happen on the first session. So included here also, try to familiarize yourself with the common antidepressants in their usual doses. That is also included in your student manual. So come the time that you meet with your preceptors, you'll be submitting the psychiatric report of the patient video that you watched and also the conforme for ward work. So this I will also be explaining to you in a while. You'll be practicing with them the scripts that you have prepared regarding the symptoms of the common psychiatric disorders. By the way, the symptoms should be based on the DSM-5 criteria. And then prepare for the quiz that day. Hold on, I'm just going to check the chat. Okay. So there. Okay. So as mentioned, so familiarizing yourself with the common antidepressants, this is also included in your student manual. So kindly use that and review that. So here, this is the table of the common antidepressants. What are the usual brand names available in the Philippines? What's the dose available? What's the therapeutic dose range? What's the target dose range for these medications? And how do we take the medications initially? How do we prescribe it when we first see the patient? So this is provided. So now, in terms of ward work policies and instructions, kasi diba, a while ago, there's that conforme prior to starting ward work. So first and foremost, let me orient you as to where the psychiatry ward is, the psychiatry OPD. So the psychiatry ward is found on the building right across the hospital lobby. So we are on the second floor of that building. So the psychiatry ward, on the left side of it is the clinic, the private clinic of the psychiatrists. So it is a gated ward. Just ask the nurses. So ring the doorbell and ask the nurses to let you in. So upon entering the psych ward, there you would find the female female ward. And then in between that, in between the female and the male ward is the nurse's station. Okay. So at the end of the corridor, so upon entering the psychiatry ward, at the end of the corridor, you would find naman the isolation room. So the isolation room is a padded room where we temporarily place patients who are severely agitated and would have to be chemically or at times physically restrained. Of course, we don't want them hurting themselves or hurting other people. So for the meantime, if they're very agitated, we have to put them in isolation. But remember, once they've already calmed down, we also don't want them to be staying there for a long time. Okay, but that's where it is. Now, beside the isolation room is the stock room. And then on the left side of that, of the isolation room would be the entrance to the psychiatry department office. So when you go inside, you'll find the long table here, and then this is the desk for our secretary, Miss Klein. For the psychiatry OPD, when you go down from the psychiatry office or the psychiatry second floor, right across the parking lot or the quadrangle would be the psychiatry OPD. So inside the OPD, there's the small portion or section for the nurses. This is the waiting room, waiting portion or waiting area of the patients and the relatives. And you would find or see here several consultation rooms, okay, for our resident psychiatrists. So inside would be a laptop, table, and chairs where the patients sit. Our psychiatry OPD also offers telemedicine. So sometimes, okay, later on you'll find out, no, when you do ward work also, that's an option. You can join the psychiatry resident when they do telemedicine consultations, as long as the patient consented to it. Okay, so now the ward work, no? Okay, so this is only for section A. So kindly take note of the dates that you'd be conducting your ward work activities. So very important here, by the way, this is also included in your student manual. So we ask the group, each preceptorial group, to divide themselves into two. So the first half will do the ward work first, and then the second half will have their turn. So we did this to prevent overcrowding in the OPD and also in the ward. Right? So as mentioned here, you will be assigned either an inpatient, an OPD patient, or an online patient. So for this week, I believe for the Thursday group, you will have your first ward work activity on Friday. This is for section A. So you'll be going to the department office this Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Kindly look for Dr. Alex Salud because Dr. Verano is currently not available or not present. So again, kindly look for Dr. Alex Salud, who will be assisting you in assigning you your patients. So for patient observation, that will be the first few ward work activities that you'll do. You will not be interviewing patients yet. So you will just be observing how the psychiatric interview is conducted. So you could either be assigned a face-to-face OPD patient. So in that case, kindly bring your things with you into OPD. And if you are assigned an online patient, the students will only will log in as a group, meaning you are only one participant in the Zoom meeting. So this is also to prevent the patient from feeling very overwhelmed when there are a lot of participants in the Zoom meeting. We also don't want them feeling that it's like a conference. All right. So we would request that per group, you'll just be using one Zoom window. Okay. Now, for the patient interview, this is the time that you're actually going to ask the patient certain questions, elicit the psychiatric history. You could either be assigned an inpatient, okay? In that case, you may leave your things in the psychiatry office or a face-to-face and an online OPD patient. So for online patients, the same would apply as during the patient observation. You will log in as a group, only one Zoom window during the Zoom meeting. Okay, as much as possible, we also want na you would encounter patients face to face or in person. The online alternative is only an option if there is scarcity or if the patient is really unavailable for a face to face interview. Okay, but we'll try as much as possible to give you opportunities to talk with patients in person. Okay, so for confidentiality matters, so kindly take note of this also. You are only allowed to interview consenting patients and or relatives or guardians during the ward work hours allotted for psychiatry. All information will be kept confidential. No specific data or identifying details should be included in the psychiatric report or psychiatric PowerPoint presentation that you will be preparing. No patient information, written or electronic in form could be shared, copied, or distributed. Kindly refrain from discussing the patient's history in public or your experience about the psychiatric interview in public, okay, just to be safe. Recording of the patient observation in interview is strictly prohibited. Again, the instructional videos are not allowed to be copied or distributed. Any violation of the policies on confidentiality may result in appropriate disciplinary measures. Okay, for safety reminders, so before entering the psychiatry ward or OPD, kindly remove your ID straps and nameplate. Keep all sharp objects like ball pens and pencils in your bags and out of the patient's reach. A nurse or a nursing aide will be on standby when you interview patients. Also, please observe the proper decorum at all times. Remember to introduce yourself, be respectful, introduce yourself as a medical student, and state the purpose of the interview. Maintain a respectful stance and ensure that the patient's history will be kept confidential. Inform the patient that the interview may last for 45 minutes to an hour and she may opt to discontinue at any point if he or she feels uncomfortable to proceed. If there are any signs of impending agitation, restlessness, shouting, angry remarks, or all of a sudden being uncooperative, do not insist on finishing the interview. Stop the interview, inform the nurses or resident coordinator immediately, and proceed to the psychiatry office for further instructions. Rest assured that prior to assigning patients to the students, we have already done prior screening of the patients. Once done interviewing, kindly inform the nurse and resident coordinator that you will be leaving the ward or the OPD. All right. So these policies and also the conforme is included in your manual. So I'll be asking you to sign this and submit this to us. Okay. For the others, you will be submitting this during your first precept session with your facilitator. But for those who will be having the ward work activity on Friday, so before you do your ward work, we'll be giving you copies of the policies and conforme so that you could review them again, read it, and then sign it afterwards before starting with your activity. All right. So there. So just to review, submit the psychiatric report and conforme on your first precept session with your facilitator. For the second session, the topic would be about the MH gap and review of psychotropics. So the MH gap is actually an advocacy or an initiative of the World Health Organization. And this is to equip non-psychiatrists, other medical doctors on how to assess and also provide the first line treatment for common psychiatric disorders. So this is a very good preparation for any patient encounters when you reach clerkship and also in your clinical practice in the future. All right. So there will be cases in your student precept manual that we've included there. What are the guide questions for discussion when you present this to your group and also to your facilitator? So when you prepare the PowerPoint, kindly include the MHGAP algorithms, which are also included in the MHGAP in their intervention guide. Uh, this particular resource material also has tables for the common psychiatric medications. But aside from that, we've also included the common antipsychotics in your student precept manual. Diba, a while ago, there's already a table for the common antidepressants. So we also have common antipsychotics that we've included here. Again, the medication, what's the usual brand name in the Philippines, the dosages available, what's our target dose, and how do we initially start the medication. So kindly review this because this will really help you prepare for the discussions and also for the quizzes. Now, for session 3, it would be about psychological first aid. So, psychological first aid, we will provide a PowerPoint presentation so that you can discuss this. Okay, you can discuss this with your preceptor. And also, it also depends on your preceptor if they want to do role playing, a sample of the PFA. So, sometimes it's also case-to-case basis depending on the preceptor. Also, we have prepared a case so that whatever you've learned in the didactics or the PowerPoint of the PFA, you can practically apply in a patient encounter or in a sample case. All right, to keep it interesting and relevant. Now, for the subsequent sessions, there will be this will be for the reporting of the patient interviews you have conducted. So kindly prepare a PowerPoint of that, include the pertinent findings, differential diagnosis, management, workup, treatment, and psychotherapy. For the quizzes, this if you have, of course, discussed very well with your preceptors, the MHCAP cases during the previous sessions, you've reviewed the resource materials, then you could easily answer the quizzes. Okay, same is true for the next session, since it will be still about your reporting of the patient interview. Now, during this particular session, we'll also be asking you to submit a conforme before taking the oral OSCE. Okay? So the conforme states here na we will be testing or evaluating your skills in eliciting the psychiatric history and performing the mental status examination during your oral OSCE. But should there be any medical or psychological, psychiatric reasons or emergencies, we would also be considerate about your circumstances, of course, and you can request for a makeup exam, provided that you would notify the department, submit a letter for the request, and also provide the necessary documents, medical or psychiatric clearance, that you may proceed with the said exam. Okay, so we will be providing the conforme. Kindly just submit this to your preceptorial facilitator on that particular session. Now, going to the last session of the preceptorial period. So this would be the summative OSCE. So for the oral OSCE, each precept group will be assigned to a different preceptor who will grade you. So this time, you will be practicing or you will be evaluating the way you conduct your interview. You will only be providing a simulated patient, not an actual patient, and see if you have elicited your history adequately and has performed the mental status examination correctly. The summative OSCE will be graded based on the EPA grading rubric. The numeric score will then be translated to a letter grade equivalent. In the event of failure, the student should repeat the OSCE with his or her preceptor or with a different preceptor, whoever will be available. So this is the competency checklist for that. So the evaluating history taking and mental status examination. So these are the parameters that we would be evaluating. If you're able to build rapport with the patient, you've done the proper introduction, ask how the patient wants to be addressed, make them comfortable, explain confidentiality, able to ask the symptoms under the HPI, okay? Under that particular metric, ask the symptoms of the common psychiatric disorders, be able to perform certain aspects of the mental status examination, appeared fully engaged, exhibited appropriate and courteous nonverbal cues, able to close the interview, proper summarized questions and ask the patient if he or she has any questions and thank the patient properly. So again, all of these things you will be able to practice as you go through your preceptorial period. Diba? During the first few sessions, you will have your patient observation, you will practice your scripts, okay, and then you will have a chance to interview patients. So all of those are also in preparation for you when you do your oral obscene. All right. So you will be graded accordingly on all the aspects of the competency checklist. And in order to pass, the student should have scored 3 in all aspects. 3 means be able to do or perform the task with minimal guidance from the preceptor. Okay, so in the event that the score didn't reach the passing grade, you would have to repeat the OSCE again with your preceptor or with a different facilitator. Now, in the student manual, we provided additional lectorial videos. So here about the mental examination, thought disorders, psychiatric interview, psychosis, suicide, etc. So you can just click this and you'll be immediately redirected to the learning videos. So policies on makeup exams, I believe that the college already also oriented you about this. But let me just reiterate, this is from the policies are from the college also. So these are the reasons that would quantify as excused absences, then the unexcused absences for the exams. No? So if it is the student's responsibility to notify the course coordinator about their absence and intend to make up the examination, to take the makeup examination. So prior notification, at least 24 to 48 hours prior to the exam. Post-absence notification also within 24 to 48 hours of the missed examination or upon their return to school. Method of notification through official channels, email, or in person. Usually, we ask the students to send an email to us through the department email address or personally visit the psychiatry office. All requests for makeup examinations due to excused absences must be accompanied with appropriate supporting documentation. Okay? Meaning yung mga medical certificates or other documents. Submission deadline, all required documentation must be submitted within 7 working days of the individual's return. Failure to submit documentation within this time frame may result in the forfeiture of the makeup examination opportunity. So this is just relevant for us kasi di ba we have quizzes. So for the makeup quizzes, it will be scheduled 1 week after the missed quiz. So what you can do, for example, session 1, preceptorial session 1, you've missed the quiz. So by next week, after your session with the preceptor, kindly go to the psychiatry office so that we can give you the makeup quiz for that. Okay, basta the time frame should be 1 week after the missed quiz. For missed long examinations, first opportunity is within 2 weeks after the missed long examination, and second opportunity during the next long examination schedule. The makeup exam might be different from the original examination. Different set of questions, essay instead of multiple choice to ensure fairness and prevent unauthorized sharing of information. No further makeups will be given if the student isn't able to have the makeup during the specified schedule. The students who miss the opportunity for a makeup exam will automatically receive a grade of incomplete. I think this is for the long examinations. Okay. Any questions? Let me just stop share. There. Any questions so far? You can type it in the chat box if you have any. Okay, so I think there are none naman. So if ever, we'll just provide also a link of this orientation so that you can revisit. And then if there are any questions naman, you can still um, ask through the Canvas platform. Okay, sige. If there are none, thank you so much. Have a nice day.